Every day, Bexx Powders wakes up, drinks breakfast, types bullshit. Every day. One day, he meets an old punk in the city morgue. Like any day, he does a record launch, steals a heart.
I couldn't help but take advantage of her.
Her name's Coral.
Coral Whangapui.
That's some kind of foreign name.
She throws knives. Their passion takes them over the edge and into the big beat. Bexx Powders and the Big Beat tonight at 7:30 on JJJ.
Bexx Powders and the Big Beat, episode 2.
That night my sleep was ruined by dreams of Pete with that knife in his back and his jam-tipped finger spelling out the fateful words, the horror, the horror. What did it mean? Sure, Pete wasn't an original thinker. It was a big enough shock to know he could write, even in strawberry jam. No, something told me Pete was sending me a message from beyond the grave, and that if I listened hard enough, I'd understand and it would mean money.
Come on, Bex, get up. 4 hours sleep is more than enough.
Genius requires 8.
Very well, I'm off to cash my traveller's check.
All right already, I'm out of bed, jeez.
Good, now here's your itinerary for today. Take my folio to the fashion editors at Vogue, Dolly and Stiletto. I'm available for the next 2 months till the expiry date and my ticket back to Auckland, and the rates are negotiable. Though you can hint that the royal Maori blood doesn't come cheap.
Oh, it's royal Maori blood, is it?
Why, yes, didn't I tell you I'm a Maori princess? I was a virgin Maori princess until you defiled me. Now I'm just a princess. Oh, that's the price of sophistication, I suppose. Though in the old days it would have earned you ritual death by crushing.
Charming. But tell me this, Princess Coral. While old Bexx is running around representing you, what are you going to be doing?
I'll be seeing the sights with a few of my relatives.
How nice. You want to know what I think, Coral? I think you're a cheap little hustler. Well, move over, sister. I'm already working this side of the street. And another thing, I don't think you were ever a virgin. And I wish I had a buck for every Maori princess I've met on a hot day in Bondi.
Hi, boys!
Hi, baby sister. You still intact? What's this tequila here, hey boy?
Oh, that's Bexx Powders, boys.
And I slept in the bath, fellas. Coral, busy day. Nice to meet you guys.
Likewise, Paki, huh?
That Maori talk breaks me up.
We can arrange that.
Bye, Bexx.
I'm not a guy to get in the way of a girl and her 9 brothers. I still had a story to crack, so I cabbed it down to Rubber Soul Records. The receptionist was an old flame.
Why, Bexx Powders, you heartbreaking slug.
Guilty as charged, Mandy. How's the kids?
Oh, little Sid's been expelled from another preschool for punching out a teacher. They simply refuse to recognise genius in a 4-year-old. And Susie starts school next year. Oh, she adored the Duran Duran albums. But no more, honey. Greg gets touchy about things he can't buy the kids.
Mandy, that was just promo stuff.
And he's written some great songs, Bex. You can just hear it even on a 4-track. So much there. Just waiting for the right producer.
Listen, Mandy, reason I'm here is to see Rat features. Is he in?
Yeah, I wish he'd just suck up his arse and vanish. This'll be him now. Yes, Mr. Pearlhibbits?
Wait, that call yet, Mandy?
There's no one answering, Mr. Pearlhibbits. Shall I keep trying, Mr. Pearlhibbits?
Yes, of course, keep trying, idiot. As soon as you get it, put it straight through.
I shouldn't be telling you this, but this morning, Chillwinds drops a bombshell and says his record's not ready for release. Jake's been ringing ever since.
Yes, Mandy?
Bexx Powders to see you, Mr. Pearlhibbits.
Yeah? Well, tell that scummy muckraker to...
I went right in.
Bexx! Why, what a coincidence! Just this minute I was asking Mandy to call you. You know, we really ought to make lunch sometime.
You talked me into it, Jake.
Today? Love it, love it, love it. But no can do, Dale. Got a big meet with the Crawley Hogs at noon to see if we can't marry one of their ideas and a notion of mine into a real concept for the next video. I'd like to offer you a little... But this is all advances against their New Guinea tour. After Zimbabwe, NG's the 32nd largest market on the planet, and the hogs are hot with those Highlanders.
Still flogging dead horses, Jake?
Old news! The horses have signed with RCA. It's a whole new stable now.
With Chill at the reins?
Well, naturally we're excited. With Opium, Arthur Baker in New York is doing a remix on the extended dance. And we've scrapped the film clip, because Jill wants McCoy to do it. So Russell's had to reschedule the Rolling Stones because he's very behind the record. Plus, Katie Pye's working overtime to design a new OFTM range, and George Lucas is solid on the making of the video of the song. So he's putting back Star Wars 4, and Norman Mailer wants to do the book of the video of the song.
Then it's too bad Pete Better's stolen the limelight, isn't it?
I love that guy. Who's he with now?
God. Pete's dead, Jake.
No! How'd he take it?
Pretty bad. Stabbed in the back. Murdered.
You don't say. You get any coverage?
All the morning papers. TV, radio.
My gosh, a grand slam and no product to promote. How tragic. I've got it. A special edition Pete Better commemorative reissue of Stalactite's greatest hits. I'll put out the press release right away. But first, 10 seconds of silent reflection on the career of a truly wonderful drummer. Now, Bexx, if you could please leave me in my grief.
Whoever killed Pete had a reason, Jake.
Yeah? You think so?
How about the person who owed him years of back royalties?
Sounds plausible. Hold on. I owe everyone royalties, and they or their estate will get every cent just as soon as Chill gets me in some hot chart action.
But I hear he's put back the release date.
You know, I'd sack that receptionist if she wasn't my sister-in-law.
I want to talk to him, Jake. I want to see the Iceman.
Impossible. Chill doesn't speak to... And don't even think of lighting that cigarette!
Suffer, Jake.
You pig! You want to kill me with your filthy habits! Where's my inhaler?
In your hand, wimp. All right, it's out.
Pull a stunt like that again, and I'll have you up on assault charges, Powders. And before you go, I want to say, I saw the last piece you did on us, and I'm going to tell you what I've already told your editor. Do it again, and he loses 20 grand of advertising.
Didn't like it, Jake.
Not the smarmy tone, not the libelous misquotes, not the fact that Pearlhibbits is spelt with 2 B's. So take a tip, loser. Stay away from the Chill Win story. It'll kill you faster than those American cigarettes.
It was hard to know whether Jake didn't like my writing or my cigarettes. I was wondering if I should change brands when suddenly... Forget it, cue balls. The cupboard's bare. You cleaned me out last night.
My governor wants to see you, Powders.
I sat in Chill Wynn's elegant in a tasteless sort of way mansion. His full-size portrait over the mantel gave few clues. The artist had captured the cottage cheese complexion, the sly pigeon shit eyes, and the curve of yellow fangs sharp as daggers. A flattering picture, but it told me nothing about the man. What I wanted was his inner life, his soul, his guts. Preferably in 500 words or less.
Mr. Powders, so good of you to come.
Good to see you. May I say you're looking a picture of health, Chill, baby?
I feel one owes it to one's fans to keep up appearances. Are you perchance a fan, Mr. Powders?
No.
Oh, you don't like my music?
It stinks.
I see I'm dealing with a man of forthright opinion. Oh, but how obtuse of me. You're intimidated by my crown. I can remove it if you like.
I wouldn't want to put you out, Chill, baby.
Not at all. I have so few visitors these days, I quite forget I'm wearing it. My casual round-the-house crown, you know. 4B2, kindly put this in the throne room for me. There's a good fellow.
Yeah, and fetch back my Walkman while you're about it.
What's this 4B2? Not common. Thievery again.
Oh, well, not exactly, Governor.
And my Beatles belt and my shades.
Oh, 4B2, I am disappointed. You and your rogues, get over to that corner and stand with your faces to the wall.
Oh, Governor.
This instant!
And be quick about it, cue ball.
May I offer you some refreshments? A drink, perhaps?
I've got one, thanks. Mind if I keep the bottle?
By all means. You're probably wondering why I've asked you here.
You want to know what I've sussed out about the disappearance of Opium for the Masses?
A man of rare perception. Yes, straight to the point, Mr. Powders. It seemed yesterday you were speaking to my late lamented drummer, Pete.
Yep.
You were, in fact, on the death scene.
Yep.
I wonder, before he expired, did he say anything?
He said nothing, Jill.
Ah, dear, well, there you have it. You see, I happen to know it was Pete who stole opium right from this very mansion.
So what's the beef? Just cut another version.
Ah, if only it was that easy, Mr. Powders. Opium is a oncer, a product of luck as much as experimentation. I tell you in the strictest confidence, you understand?
Of course.
You see, I developed it on my Fairlight, and it isn't even a single in the ordinary sense, rather a tiny floppy disk. I was wondering, Mr. Powders... Well, no, it is too much of me to ask.
Ask, Jill.
Oh, no, it would be an imposition, I'm sure.
Ask me, Jill.
Well, if there was a chance of recovering opium, I should think my interest would be very well served of a man of your obvious talents, Mr. Powders. Would you, or could you, consider being my agent in this matter? Say $200 a day? Ah, but your reaction says it all. The very thought offends your journalistic ethics.
Jill, baby, I can be bought.
Oh, I'd be ever so grateful.
Make it $300 a day, 4 figures up front, and first option on your biography.
Done. I'll write you a check this instant.
I prefer cash, boss.
I assure you I am solvent, Mr. Powders.
Well, of course, if this bounces, you know it's no deal. Looks genuine enough. Well, don't worry, boss. As soon as I get to a bank, I'll get right onto it.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Powders.
It's the least I could do for you, you crazy guy. So I hit the nearest bank, and what do you know? A wallet of crisp hundreds. Fat city, baby. But I guess I had to earn it. As dusk was falling, I was cabbing it back down to Pete's squat in the DMR zone. Maybe I'd overlooked a few clues.
4B2, get away from that wall, you clod, and come here.
I didn't like what you done said about us to that Powders, Governor.
Mere play acting, my boy. With little incentive, he's going to lead us right to the floppy disk. And when he finds it, do with him what you will, but bring the floppy disk to me.
The door was open, and there she stood. Damasio African print dress flapping carelessly against her breast. Bushy pink mohawk drooping over her furrowed brow. One hand gripped a hammer, and the other held Pete's piggy bank. Bexx Powders was in love.
Just stand your ground, bud. The refuge for homeless men is up the street.
I'm not interested.
Well, if it's working Goyle's down the hill, Romeo. But take another step and you get the hammer in the eye.
You just gotta be Sheila McCoy.
Who wants to know? You a cop or something?
Her name's Powders, Bexx.
Same tag as that bullneck cop was stomping in here all day.
No relation. I'm the one writes for Rolling Stone.
The Stone? How come I never seen your byline?
Under the table of contents, the small print, that's me.
Oh, yeah? So what you want, hack?
Well, Pete and I were personal friends. I'm writing up his obituary for the next issue, and well, since you're here, I was wondering if you might have some, memories you'd like to share with my readers.
Well, we've been going strong for a couple of months, since I come out here, But, I first met Pete back in the States.
Stalactite doing the car support.
Yeah, that'd be right. I was going with their assistant sound engineer, and one night he made it with this chick, had David Bowie's guitar tuner, So I'm at a loose end, and this guy Pete shows.
And love walked in.
Not exactly. It was blowing a blizzard outside, and Pete was the only guy who wasn't already taken. Listen, I shouldn't be spilling all this on account of I got an exclusive lined up with the Star Inquirer,
You're gonna sell your story?
Well, sure. Roommate of mine back home made a fortune out of John Belushi. And besides, the Inquirer's my favorite newspaper. It's quality journalism.
Well, all right, if you're gonna exploit the guy, jeez.
Now just hold it right down, mister, with his mind in a gutter. Selling a story like twinning a buck on these here records of Pete's just so the poor guy can get the train fare back to his little dingbat town where he belongs. You get that?
I'm sorry for jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, well, okay.
I'd like to chip in a couple of bucks if it'll help. Don't suppose you can change 100.
How about a recommendation on a second-hand store?
Well, I take all my promos down to Slime Limes. The guy's a crook, but he's honest.
Much appreciated, I'm sure.
Wrong number.
Sheila.
Vince.
Bexx.
What are you after?
Sheila, mate, she there?
No, Vince, she just left.
Bugger it. I just scored 2 tickets to the night cricket.
I'm free.
So what?
What?
So I hear Luke's landed you in hot water.
Bullshit, they can't touch me, mate. I'm the guy that knows where the bodies are buried. Hey, what's that clicking on the line?
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, well, anyway, best not take any chances. Judy calls, kiddo.
It's okay, Sheila. It was just that bullneck. Sheila? And she didn't even leave a forwarding address. I found a couple of Coral's brothers sacked out in the bath. We made some hurried introductions and they let me have the shower recess. This was my bathtub. Things were gonna have to change. I took a light breakfast, potato chips, cigarettes, some Polish vodka, and watched as the street sweepers hosed down last night's folly. If vomit could talk. The big city puts on its morning glory as Bexx Powders, student of life and champion of truth, pondered the possibilities of bedding down the curvaceous Sheila McCoy with Coral and her 9 brothers hanging around his neck like a 10-ton tiki. That bitch had taken advantage of my good nature for long enough.
Don't say those things.
Pack your bags and go.
But you don't mean it.
Yes, I do.
After all we've seen and done as man and woman together.
One unsolved murder?
You said you'd help me.
I was lying through my teeth.
Use all your contacts.
Lying.
Get my face on the cover of Stiletto.
Sometimes I lie a lot,
Coral.
Coral.
I believed you, Bexx.
Because you're a dumb hick from New Zealand. And I mean that as a most sincere compliment, Coral.
I believe that you were my Sir Galahad, ready to pick the locks of the fashion biz for your Polynesian Guinevere.
That's very touching, Coral, and real literate. And you just go on thinking that while you pack your bags.
Money, here, all my money, all of it.
No,
take it,
I couldn't.
take it,
Really,
you take
no,
it,
honest.
Bexx. You don't want my money?
Sure, I want your money, but I don't want your brothers breaking the hand that takes it. No, you keep it, kid. That's a mean town out there. You'll find plenty of people to steal your blind.
You don't love me.
You're right. Now you can get your underwear out of my filing cabinet.
I should call off our marriage right now.
How about a few bucks towards the rent?
Another woman!
Don't be silly.
Sheila! That's what you kept saying in the bathtub, Sheila! Sheila!
That was no reason to turn the shower on me. Hey, now stop that. Your mascara's dribbling off your chin. Now this is the truth. There is no other woman.
You're lying.
I don't lie, Coral.
You wait till my brothers are gone and dump me in the street.
Hey now, hey, put that knife down, Coral. Just put the knife down.
I'll bury it in your cheating heart powders.
Now we both know you'll do no such thing.
Ah! Missed!
That's it, Coral. We're through. I don't want to see you here when I get back. The poor kid was broken up to lose me. Yeah, well, I could understand that, but I had other things on my mind, like Sheila McCoy. I cabbed it down to a squat, only to find the demolishers had beaten me. Luke was standing at the top of a pile of rubble, waving a big red flag, defiantly staring down the jaws of a bulldozer. Funny thing was, the bulldozer was driven by Coral's big brother, Titch. Small world.
Well, then move it, fucker, while you got the chance.
What do we want? Homes. When do we want them now? What do we want? Homes. When?
10 minutes smoker, boys.
Hiya, Titch. Nice demolition.
Hey, honky shit. Why aren't you minding my baby sister?
You haven't heard? She left me, man. I guess Bexx was just another step on Coral's ladder of success.
Good day. I told you use rubbish with the worst vermin.
Ah, didn't we all, though?
If I ever thought you touched her...
I get the picture. You run along and eat your play lunch. I just want to be alone. Psst, Luke! Luke, here, let me help you out of that. That was the most inspiring one-man demo I've ever seen.
Oh, so finally you've come to cover a real story of how the criminals of this society evict the people from their homes. Well, that's about time.
Actually, it's a social call. Where's Sheila?
Run off like the rat she is. And good riddance. We don't need the children of the rich to fight our wars.
Oh, bugger.
American imperialist exploiters.
But I was going to ask her out to dinner. Just tell me this. Have you seen a floppy disk in any of this mess?
And what do you want the disc for?
Aha! I knew Pete wasn't bright enough to steal it by himself, but you could feed his pride, poison his mind with envy, and while Pete did the dirty work, you'd have waited in the car, ready to run him back here. Load up his fairlight, and the moment his back was turned, flash. In with the old kitchen knife right in his spine.
That's a lie.
Oh, yeah? Which part?
All of it. Lies.
No, you didn't kill Pete. You haven't the guts, Luke. And if you had the disc, you wouldn't be digging around in these bricks. All you've got is Pete's dying words and a thumbed-down copy of Heart of Darkness. Well, you be thankful I didn't mention any of this to my brother, horror. From here on, I don't want to see, hear, or smell you. Understand, grub?
Don't flick your cigarette at me. You can't talk to me like that. My father's a High Court judge.
When I grabbed a cab, I almost threw up. I was laughing so hard. I went over the whole routine for the driver and he had to pull over. He couldn't see straight for laughing. Yeah, we both agreed it was the season for mischief. Funny thing is, I don't think he spoke a word of English.